restorative stuff today. But we will get into the shoulders with a strap or a belt or a towel if that's what you have. Really anything that you can just hold out in front of you or behind you. So yeah, go ahead and grab whatever you have for that. And then all the usual stuff, blocks, pillow or bolster and blanket. And I will mute everybody now and we'll get started.
I know, because when I wash my face, the fine, but when I just wash my hands in there, it wasn't.
Okay. So let's start this morning at the front of our mats. We've done this a couple of times at this point where we don't start sitting. And it's sometimes a nice change to be able to sense what's happening in your body in a little bit of a different way. A little shift in perspective, but also to focus a little bit on an even balance in the body. And sometimes when we sit right off, it's hard to feel evenly balanced because there might be something in hips or low back that's kind of talking to you. So find feet inner hip distance or wider at the front of your mat. Sometimes wider feels better. So just take a moment to find the stance that feels the best on your body. And then give a little bend to your knees so that you have some softness there. Turn your palms forward and lift your shoulders up and back. And let your eyes close and take a moment to feel the four corners of your feet. Just notice the front two corners and the back two corners. And shift a little forward and back here as much as is comfortable for you, not so much that you fall over. And if it doesn't feel good to move, that's okay too. Just feel how both parts of your feet feel, how it feels to shift that weight. And just to notice the differences from the front to the back. And then shift a little side to side, allowing yourself to feel the outside edges and the inside edges of your feet. And as you come back into center here with four corners evenly rooting into the ground, palms are turned forward, your heart space is open. Take a full deep breath in this evenly balanced space. And as you let your breath move for a couple more breaths, start to notice your breath from crown to tail on the inhale. And from tail to crown on the exhale. So observe it moving in that direction, which is a little bit counter to maybe what you naturally tend to feel. Inhale, crown to tail. Exhale, tail to crown. So you can imagine it moving this way. Inhale, crown to tail. Exhale, tail to crown. And now connect palms together at your heart. And as you gently press your palms together, lift up with your shoulders a little bit more. Draw shoulder blades to connect gently on your back. Deep inhale here. Exhale, bow toward your heart. Softly opening your eyes, release your hands down. Shoulders lift up and back. Keep your chin tucked down and give that shake of your head toward the ground that we often do when we're sitting. We'll move through a little bit of neck stuff here. Then lift up through the back of your neck and shake your head no, straight ahead. And now as your head turns over to the right side, drop your chin down, take a hold of the back of your head with your right hand if that's comfortable, and then bend your left elbow coming into that gratitude arm place with your palm facing up, and then move your shoulder blade further onto your back on the left side. Take a deep breath here. Inhale back up to center. And exhale, turn your head over to the left side. Tuck your chin down. Take a hold of the back of your head with your left hand. Gratitude with your right arm. And re-engage your right shoulder blade onto your back. Big breath. Then gently release both arms down, come back into center. And now reach your arms out long to the sides. Palms are down here. Plug in with your shoulders. And now roll or rotate your arms backwards, little circles, starting to move in the direction of your rotator cuff. That is helpful and healthy for your shoulders to move up and back. Then turn your palms forward, thumbs are up, and continue rolling back. Long reach through your hands, palms are facing forward, and then turn your palms up. Shoulder blades are on your back, rotate your arms, finding that motion again that helps that movement of shoulder blades onto your back. Then release your arms down and give them a shake. And then give a little bend to your knees. And then we're going to add some twisting here. And as we twist, we're going to allow our arms to hang and gently hit against ourselves. And as you do that with your knees bent, you're trying to allow the twist to happen more from your torso than your hips and knees. So you're trying to stay a little bit stable through your low body. Good. Then come back into center. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Bent knees. Exhale, hinge from your hips and fold over your legs. Inhale and lengthen part way. Send your sitting bones up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Find whatever you're using for blocks here and set your hands up on the highest point of whatever you're using. So that can be up on a chair even. And from this place, extend your heart, keep your knees bent, send your sitting bones up. And now begin to pedal out. Bending one knee at a time, allowing for the soles of your feet to stay fully planted the whole time. So you end up having some movement here through the hips, the low back, and starting to work through hamstrings and connections. Then back into center here. As you exhale and fold over your legs with your knees bent, take a moment to let your arms hang. You can always hold on to opposite elbows here. Let the back of your neck hang, your head hangs, and add a little bit of side to side sway if that feels good to your body. Then releasing your hands down and locate your strap if it's close by. Then hands come to your hips, press your hips back. Bend knees, use your glutes for support here as you inhale and rise up. And then, whoop, almost threw my strap across the floor. Feisty today, I am. So with your strap and your hands out in front of you, and it's whatever you have, it can be a towel even. Out in front of you, your hands a little bit wider than your shoulders, arms are long and straight, and then plug in with your shoulder blades, pull them onto your back, and it's a gentle movement of shoulder blades. So let's do that a couple of times. Let your shoulders come off your back, and then pull your shoulder blades on your back. Move them off your back, and then on your back. One more time this way, off your back, and then on your back. Keep them on your back. Pull against the strap and let your arms release down toward your legs. Then inhale, keep the pull against the strap, shoulder blades on your back, and lift your arms up as far as your body is ready for. Exhale, lower arms down toward your legs. And inhale, arms lift. As you keep that pull against the strap, you're keeping shoulder blades engaged. So if that means that you only come part way up as opposed to all the way up overhead, find where it is that your shoulder blades can stay engaged. And guess what? That's different for everybody. Inhale, lift your arms. and exhale, lower them. We have 2 more. Full inhale, long, deep exhale. Let that movement be the same length as your breath. Good, okay. Release the strap from one hand so you're holding it in the other hand so you still have it accessible, and then roll your shoulders back. And now we're going to take the strap behind us, palms faced back. And from this place, your hands are a little bit wider than shoulders, a tiny bit wider than hips, and pull against the strap. Lift your shoulders up and back. And as you do so, I know for me, that means that my low ribs pop out. So engage them a little bit. Exhale and knit your low ribs together. Now inhale, as you pull against the strap, you're going to lift your arms up as high as they can go with your shoulders staying lifted. Exhale, arms lower back down toward your hips. Inhale, arms lift. And exhale, arms lower down. You're going to take about 5 more here with your own breath, and just recognize your own tendency. Again, my tendency is for low ribs to pop out and for my head to dip down. So I'm consciously keeping low ribs knitted together and my head lifted. Length of your breath with your movement. 1 more. Deep inhale, long, full exhale. And then set the strap aside this time. You can set it all the way down and give your shoulders a few rolls back. And now hands come behind you to clasp. And again, we go over this quite a bit because joints are important, right, in longevity if we keep them unlocked. So keep your elbows bent, lift your shoulders up and back, and start to hug your elbows toward each other. Press your palms together, but now you're going to do a little bit of resistance. So push your palms together and try to pull them apart at the same time. This might fire up your delts. And then allow your hands to lift away from your back if that's in your practice, but avoid locking joints. Take a big inhale here, lift your ribs, lift your chest, lift your heart. Exhale, soft knees as you hinge from the hips and fold over your legs. Hands are still clasped if that's in your practice. You can always release them if you need to. And again, you can always have hands right against your back, but keep elbows bent and hugging toward each other. This helps you to arrange your shoulders, palms pressing and pulling apart at the same time. Now gently release your arms down and just let your shoulders relax, let your arms relax, let your head and neck relax. And then gently move your shoulder blades up your back and then release them back down. 3 more like that. Lift your shoulder blades up and release them down. Lift them up, release them down. 1 more, lift them up, release them down. And now bring hands to blocks or the floor, your choice. You can heel toe your feet back into inner hip distance apart. And then step your right foot back into your lunge, bring your right knee down to the ground. And from this place, pause and set yourself up. So you're working your back knee back, giving your back thigh a little bit of a stretch. Send your left hip back. And as you bend deeper into your front knee, push your back knee down. This enables you to keep your hip a little bit elevated instead of sinking into the hip connections. Take a big deep breath and lengthen your spine. Send your heart forward. Good. And now work your hands back, work your front leg towards straight, coming into that hamstring stretch that we know and love, right? I know it's a love-hate relationship sometimes. So as you work your front leg towards straight, pull your toes back towards your nose. Send your sitting bones up and then wrap your left hip back. As you wrap your left hip back, you're going to keep it back, but begin to rotate your whole leg in the hip socket. It's like you're waving at me with your foot. This is one of those ways that we can get into different parts of our hamstrings and allow for a little bit of a different release than usual. We often stretch the same way, right? We have habits. So now bend into your front knee, and now you're walking your hands to the inside here. And I always like to adjust my back knee a little further back, but you can keep it right where it is if you want. Work down toward one elbow, maybe two. Extending your heart long. Wrap your left hip back again. Think of your knee turning more toward your pinky toe edge on your front leg. But also push your big toe mound down. Take a big deep breath. Good. And then rise back up to your hands. Work your hands to either side of your front leg. Lift your back knee and step forward. Coming back into that forward fold place. And again, you can have feet hip distance or wider, your choice. But make your feet parallel, lift and spread your toes, and then root them down. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold over your legs. Then plant hands on blocks or the floor again and step your left foot back into your lunge. Left knee comes down to the ground. Pause and center off your hips. Extend your heart. Big deep breath here. As you push your back knee down and allow your upper thigh to lift, bend deeper into your front knee joint. So those two actions can happen at the same time. It takes a little conscious effort, right? Full deep inhale, long full exhale. Good, and then work your front leg towards straight as you work your hands back. You can adjust where your front heel is, running that hamstring stretch here. Toes pull back towards your nose, and your heel presses down. This helps you to unlock your knee joint if you are a hyperextender. Now wrap your right hip back and send your sitting bones up. Extend your heart forward. Take a deep breath and start to rotate your leg in the hip socket. Just remember, you're keeping your hips leveled through this movement. So it might mean that the movement is small. Might mean that one side feels different than the other because we're just not symmetrical beings. Good, and then bend into your front knee. And again, walk your hands to the inside and adjust your back knee if you would like. Extend your heart long and then work down toward one elbow, maybe two. Pause for a moment here and notice big toe mound pushing down on your right foot and your right glute wrapping, your hip wrapping back, so it helps your knee to open more toward the pinky toe edge, even as you stay planted through your big toe. Press your back knee down so you have that little bit of lift, so you're not sinking in. Take a big deep breath. And then gently rise back up to your hands. And this time, let's settle back onto hands and knees. Big toes together, knees wide, and settle hips back toward your heels. And if that's not comfortable, you can always take your knees more narrow. Sometimes that compression against the belly feels better to some people. So you get to decide. And as you let your head rest down, tune into your breath. And tune into this place, this space right here. And now gently push yourself up to your seat. And we're gonna come all the way down onto sitting bones. And let's take a twist. And with this twist, you're welcome to set your hips up on a blanket if you want to, but extend your right leg out long. Left foot either comes to the left side of your right leg or to the right side of your right leg, whichever feels the best to you in this twist, whichever makes you feel like you have more spaciousness. So then shift your sitting bones, move them back and broad. This helps you to tilt your pelvis. Hold on to your knee and give both feet some tone. So lift and spread your toes on your left foot, pull your toes back towards your nose on your right foot. As you hug your knee in, Tilt your belly forward, your pelvis forward. Think of your sacrum getting to tilt forward. Lift your chest, lift your heart. And from this place, you can either wrap your right elbow around your knee, or you can use your left hand for support. Reach your right arm up high to lengthen your side, and then bring your elbow to the outside of your knee. So whichever feels the best. Now, left thumb into your left hip crease. Give your thigh bone a push forward. This, again, helps you to tilt your pelvis. Keep that. Use your fingertips behind you to help you lift up taller. Take a big, deep exhale and draw low ribs together as you twist. Inhale to sit tall and exhale to twist. 3 more deep breaths right here. And with twists, because we're naturally inhibiting our breath, take a naturally deep breath. Don't try to make it deeper than it is. Inhale, come back into center. Both legs lengthen out long for a moment. Shift your sitting bones and press your fingertips beside your hips. Or if you have longer arms than me, then maybe push your palms down. Lift your shoulders up and back. Push your heels down and let your knees lift a little bit. Tilt your belly forward. Take a big deep breath. Staff pose. And now switching sides, bringing your right foot either to the left side of your left leg or to the right side, whichever feels the best, your choice. Your belly is tilted forward, your pelvis is tilted. And then take left elbow around your right knee and hug your knee in. From this place, lift up taller. And now thumb into your hip crease on the right side. And as you push your thigh bone forward, this enables that tilt a little bit more. Lift up longer and taller. Then use your fingertips beside you to exhale and twist just a little bit more. Maybe you switch your elbow to the other side of your knee. Maybe you stay knee hooked into the crook of your elbow. Big deep breath. Good. Inhale back into center. And uncross your legs. And now you're going to find pillow or bolster, whichever one you're using. Then we'll open up a little bit more through the chest, a little bit of a restorative pose. So we're going to sit on the pillow, and you might have to add blocks at the end so you can sit on those if it's not quite long enough. But we'll sit on whatever you're using and allow for our shoulders to come off the other side. And so as your shoulders come off the other side, you can inch yourself a little bit further in that direction to let them completely come to the ground, if that's in your practice. But you're going to find where you can expand through your chest, open up through your front body, and then maybe you walk your legs out long and straight here. Maybe you keep your knees bent and draw them into touch. Maybe arms come to cactus or reach overhead. Find what feels the best to your body and settle in for a few breaths. See if you can find that place of comfort in this pose. And if your body is saying, nope, it doesn't feel good, then maybe you just come to laying on the floor. Take a couple more big breaths here. Doing what is right for your body in this moment, in this space. Then walk your feet back in here if they're extended and drop your knees in together to touch. We'll just take another couple of breaths right here and even shift your arms. If you have them overhead, maybe bring them to cactus or a T. If you have them in a cactus or a T, maybe bring them overhead. Just notice the difference after having made those shifts and take a big breath. And now we're going to gently roll off of the bolster, pushing ourselves up to a seat long enough to move the bolster aside, but keep props handy. And then come on back down to your back, pulling knees up close to your chest and rock. Just notice any tension that might be present. And giving your low back a little bit of a massage here. Move your knees away from your chest a little bit and keep rocking. And you might feel that you can massage into the glutes. And now extend your right leg all the way out long. And you're setting your left foot into the inner thigh on your right leg, coming into this variation of tree pose. And from this variation, you might find that you need a little bit of propping underneath that left hip to bring comfort to your hip flexors. So feel free to add a block or a pillow or whatever you have. And then reach your arms long. And again, if that's not comfortable on the shoulders, you can always open your arms up to a cactus or a T. But reach through your heel. And as you reach, think of reaching so much that your low back can lift up off the ground. And then take a really big breath into your low back muscles. Expanding them on the inhale and releasing them on the exhale. And now draw your left knee up toward your chest and give it a squeeze. And then draw your left knee across your body to the right side, just enough for a little spinal twist. We're not going to take the deepest one. As a matter of fact, keep your left shoulder on the ground. Take a big deep breath here into this twist. You might just get a little more stretch through the glutes, the IT band a little bit. You can even take your right thumb into your hip crease and give your thigh bone a little push away from you. And then inhale back into center. Give your knee a squeeze. And release your left leg against the ground. Draw your right foot into the inside edge of your left thigh or your leg wherever it happens to rest. And again, block underneath your right knee if that feels the best. Reach your arms either straight overhead or into a cactus or a T. And then reach through your left foot. And as you reach, again, let your low back muscles lift a little and focus your breath into your low back muscles. Take an inhale to expand them and exhale to release them. Another breath this way. And now draw right knee up towards your chest. And then cross it over to the left side, just enough for a little bit of stretch and twist here, but keeping your right shoulder down. And feel free to add that little push onto your right thigh with your left hand if you would like to create a little more space here. Then inhale back into center and give your knee a squeeze. And now set both feet on the ground and add whatever propping you could use. Maybe a pillow or bolster underneath your legs. Maybe a blanket over your hips. Let's start to set yourself up into your Shavasana, your resting pose, your space to digest the work you've done this morning, the work you've done this week. Allow your body to settle in. Begin to take a deeper breath. Bring gentle movement into fingers and into toes. As you're ready to bend your knees and roll to your side. And then slowly, gently press yourself back up to your seat. And from your seat, bring hands together at heart center. Let your eyes close and take a deep breath, allowing yourself to feel and notice and be aware. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.